Once we've set up the configuration for Git, the next thing that we do is we set up an actual project. It doesn't really matter where we set up this project, as long as you can get there in the terminal. I recommend setting it up in a place that you want to keep it, so that way when you're navigating to it using the terminal, you're used to typing it out and you don't end up going to places you used to have it. So I'm going to just do mine on my desktop, but you can do yours in Documents or elsewhere. So I'm just going to make a new folder, and I'm just going to call it git_projects. I don't recommend using any spaces in your names. It makes it a little bit more complex when trying to navigate to things, so either use an underscore or use camel case where each other word is capitalized. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to navigate to this folder that I just created. So for me that would be cd desktop /git_project. Alright, so now I'm in the Git project folder that I created, and I can tell Git to go ahead and initialize this folder as a project. So we just type git init. So Git is obviously Git, and then init is short for initialize. So it's done its thing, and we see that it says it's initialized this empty Git repository. We see that it says .git here. So what it's done is it's added a .git folder inside of there where it's going to keep track of what it's doing, of its different versions, and etc. Now if we open this, we're not going to see that folder. Well, I see the folder because I have it allowing me to see hidden files, but if you don't have your system set up to see hidden files, then you probably won't see this here. However, if you want to make sure it's there, the fastest way to do that would be to type ls la, and that's going to show us hidden files. If we only type ls, we're not going to see anything, but if we type ls la, it will show us the hidden files as well, and you can see the .git in there. And if we want, we can even look inside of the .git folder. So ls-la.git, and you can see what's in there. Now it's going to keep track of all the different changes and stuff that you make inside of this one location. If you make subfolders inside of there, that's fine. It's still going to keep track of everything in there inside of this location. It's not going to make extra Git files. Well, it will, but inside of here, not inside of the subdirectories. Other types of version control may behave differently. It just depends on which one you're using. Alright, so let's add something in there. So I already have this pseudo source control that I was setting up manually before, right? So let's go ahead and add in that very first one that I had created. So I'm just going to copy and paste it to my desktop. So I have it here, and right now this doesn't even have a file extension, so I probably should give it a file extension, but it doesn't really matter either way. I mean, not for what I'm doing right now. So now it's a .txt file, and that was one of the issues that you saw earlier when I was doing the comparisons using different tools in the terminal, was that I didn't have the extensions, and if you did, you might have had to add those yourself. So I'm going to open my Git project, and I'm just going to drag this in. So now we have this example.txt file inside of here. I can go back to my terminal, and I can tell it git add dot. And this dot means it's going to add everything that's inside of the project folder, the folder I'm currently in, into Git. So Git is going to look for whatever's in there, whatever's new, whatever's changed, and add that to its version history, its version control. And after that, what we do is we do git commit, and we're going to do a message with it. You don't necessarily have to do the message, but you should. It's good practice. So -m for message, and I'm just going to call this our first commit. Now this isn't a great message. You should do a better job with your messages in the future, like saying what changes the file has in it. but for now this will work. And so we can see here it says that one file was changed, there was an insertion, and we can see example.txt. So that was what I had dragged in there. And if you want to make sure it worked, we can do git log, and it should show you here the information that we configured in the previous video, the comments, the time and dates, and there you go. We'll show more of what you can do with this later and how you can compare some of the changes and whatnot in future videos, but there you go. That's how you do your first commit, and that's how you're going to do probably most of your commits.